She too fell.
And then I was alone.
We interrupt your recently scheduled program to bring you an important update. It seems as though, in all the excitement over Gregory, I completely overlooked
I can't imagine
Gus.
my mom ever writing poetry, and yet...
Yeah, unfortunately, I went right past Gus without seeing that part of the story. So, I'm gonna take care of that now before continuing with the Let's Play proper.
A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard.
Interesting. What the? Is that a kite? I see. just crash right through the letters.
My father made him come, of course, but Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Interesting poem.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though he'd never met her, "We don't need a stepmom," were the words that I remember.
Husband and wife.
I see. Intriguing. This is going to end in disaster, I know. All of these stories are ending in disaster. It's all a matter of time. And figuring out what causes it. What the? Ah, okay.
When the time for photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Wow, okay. He must really have a problem with this wedding. He really doesn't want to join in, does he? He just wants to keep playing with his kite.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent.
And Gus kept playing with his kite. Even to his detriment. Gus, what are you doing? Oh. I see.
The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made.
Yeah, it looks like the weather's suddenly taking a sharp turn for the worst. To say the least. Yeesh.
The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
How's that gonna help? That will make things worse. Don't you understand, you fool? I wish that. What the? I didn't know if that was a trigger or not. That debris is getting a little too aggressive. You might want to get out of the elements if you want to live. Okay, what's the next trigger? I don't see it anywhere. Usually the next thing is in a bunch of jumbled up words, but this. Ah, I guess there was one last straight chair. What is going on here? How is Gus still standing on 2 feet? If this storm is aggressive enough to pick up these chairs, wouldn't he be feeling it? Maybe let go of the kite? Or maybe he's just that stubborn. Oh no, that's what was supposed to happen. Well, no sense in putting it off, right?
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea, and foam. But I didn't. Until we found you.
Ouch. Okay, that was...
She never
Certainly.
talked about him, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
I see. Well, I guess it should be considered fortunate that you weren't born a guy. Because you should have your own identity, not the name of someone who passed on. So, that is Gus's story. And as you can see, I've already played the game when I recorded this. I just thought I'd go back. Okay, back to our recently scheduled program, as usual. Welcome back to What Remains of Edith Finch. On the last episode, it was pretty much just full of death. You had an older gentleman who got basically horned by a moose that wasn't quite dead. You had a baby that basically drowned because it was playing with toys and inadvertently caused the faucet to turn on. And just recently, Lewis, an older... Well, he was in his 20s, so he was still pretty young, but he was working in a cannery and he had hallucinations because he was daydreaming and, well, just watch the last video if you want to see what
Lewis
happened.
and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
I see. So, I take it you were the much better one. Red King in Dream. Apparently he liked having a lot of CDs. Maybe he just liked burning music onto them. That would probably make the most sense. Sounds about right. What the? The Orders Quality Cigars. Okay then, so in addition to doing that, he also liked to partake in cigars. Well then, I'm not going to judge. It's not my place to judge. It's my place to just walk forward.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing.
I see.
She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie.
I guess she didn't want Edie the chance to object.
I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder.
Who knows?
I wish we'd stayed.
It is a nice house. Be a shame to throw it all away. I know a lot of...
But I understand why we left.
Yeah, I know a lot of people died, but it's a shame. Seems like a nice house. I wouldn't want to leave either. They
My
must
mom
have...
ended up leaving everything behind.
Yeah, I was about to say, they must have had to leave in a frickin' hurry because, like I said, a lot of it looked like there were people who were living in it just now. It's weird. I guess there's nothing here to interact with. To Teach and to Learn by Don Finch. O God, you have called your servants to ventures of which we cannot see the ending, by paths as yet untrodden, through perils unknown, Give us faith to go out with good courage, not knowing where we go, but only that your hand is leading us, and your love supporting us. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. Very beautiful. Very touching.
What happened that night had been coming for a long time.
Yeah, I can see it.
Maybe it should have come sooner.
Yeah, unfortunately, this house has claimed many lives, so maybe she just couldn't withstand the emotional turmoil
But it
of
had to end one way or another.
being in this house.
All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
Yeah. What the? What are you doing?
That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
I mean, I can't completely blame her. It's a nice house.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles.
Yeah, I can see that. What happens if I try to go back there? Of course, it's too dark to even see. It just wants me to go back towards the light. I do not wish to fall into the darkness.
When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance.
Ah,
Or that Edie had a key to it.
I see. And the last place we're gonna go is here, isn't it? This is obviously a flashback.
The thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
That's a good point.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning. Okay?
They died because of horrific circumstances. It has nothing to do with stories.
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out.
Huh.
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground.
Okay,
There'd
that's
been an
interesting.
earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years.
So
God,
the water
it
drained?
smelled awful.
I can
No.
imagine.
I've seen that house every day of my life.
In your memories, I would assume.
But I never thought I'd go back to it.
The tide's gonna
When
come back
the
up again,
fog
isn't it?
rolled in, I lost my way.
I can still see where it is. I still know where it is. It's still right ahead of me. I just have to
I
not
got turned
change.
around.
Of course. How do I find my way back?
For a while, I wandered.
It seems like you were
I
just
started
destined.
seeing things.
Oh no. That can't be good.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed.
I see.
But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me.
A lot of memories.
Or maybe I came back to them.
Either or, I'd say both. Yep, you can tell it's an older woman now.
Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
Don't. Just give it to her.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. And
You gotta be kidding. Wow, this is messed
I
up.
never saw Great Grandma Edie again.
Why?
The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot.
I guess Edie just couldn't withstand it anymore.
We both tried to make the best of it.
I see. You can move her hand around. She
A
likes
few years
feeling the
went
wind
by.
on her hand. Ah. Blow.
My mom didn't like to talk about it,
I'm trying, but
but she
Ah,
started
that's how we
getting
go.
sick a lot.
you just have to move up and down a lot.
The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't.
She too fell.
And then I was alone.
Man, this is a
Last
sad
Finch
story.
left alive.
For now.
Until I found out about you.
Who? The
I'm
next
still
generation?
not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is.
That's all you can do.
This journal was supposed to be for you.
You try to piece it
But now
together
I hope
from...
you'll never see it.
Why?
I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself.
I can imagine.
But
It's
I
always
guess if
better.
you're reading this now,
It's always better in
things didn't
person.
work out that way.
That would seem so. Is she gonna meet the same fate as all the others?
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Ah, damn. The curse. It claimed another one. But wasn't she pregnant? Oh, man. I think that makes it worse, the thought of that. A story by Giant Sparrow for Shirley Dallas. That was deep, not gonna lie. Went south fast, and then Ian Dallas, creative director. Huh, technical director. So, is this showing what they were like as children, or were they children when they worked on this? No. It's gotta be family pictures from when they were younger. Maybe they asked children things to help flesh out the story and see things from that perspective, but... well, must say, it was quite a journey. Unfortunately, by the time this video goes up, the Epic launcher deal will have long since been gone. It's already gone when I was recording this. Already long gone when I was recording this, but hopefully many of you saw the same thing I did, that you were called to download it. Any of you who wanted to play through it, and that you got to experience this too. And if not, well, hopefully you're able to experience it through someone else, like me, or someone else who played it probably a year ago and it was still relevant. But you know what? This game is still great. Even I don't think it should matter how long it's been. because this is a great game, and I think as many people as possible should experience it. Although, technically, you don't really have to play it, since it's basically a primarily story-driven game, so just watching it on YouTube is enough, technically. But yeah, it was really profound for what it was. I think of myself as sort of a connoisseur of video games. I can appreciate games of all types. I can appreciate shooters, I can appreciate racers, I can appreciate platforms and action adventures and RPGs. And like this, I can appreciate a good story game that doesn't have too much action. It's got some gameplay in there, but for the most part, you're going to remind me of that baby again, aren't you? You're going to remind me of everyone who met their end, aren't you? Dreadful stories, aka Creep Tales. Anywho, I think the graphics are especially profound, considering I'm pretty sure that this was a smaller development company. Oh, there's an ant farm. I always did find a fascination with ants, as well as science fiction. But that's neither here nor there. The point is, this is Edith Finch. It's a really good indie game, I must say. The voice acting, beautiful. The graphics, beautiful. So obviously the presentation is there. The gameplay is obviously simplistic. It's not exactly a hard game to play through. You mostly just have to solve some basic puzzles, a couple of them. But like I said, you're playing this for the story, and in that regard, it very much exceeds. I'm completely fine with games like this, as long as they don't overshadow everything else. But you know, every now and again, it's okay to just unwind and play a type of game like this. That's the beautiful thing about the video game genre. It doesn't have to be pigeonholed into one category. You can do so many things with video games that you can't do with movies or music or any other medium, really. That player interactivity, it really gives a difference. It really adds something to it, especially when you're looking through someone else's eyes and you're living their story. That's what I think the greatest potential of video games is, to just play the role of someone else. Whether that be, like I said, in a shooter or just a simple thing like this. This is exemplary. I'm probably rambling on at this point, so I'm just going to say that is it for now. Thank you so much for tuning in with me. Make sure to spread this video around like the Finch family curse. The end. And I will see you next time. Now go out there and capitalize on life. Peace out, have a good one, and have a nice and pleasant day.